They got it right. With a team that's half the game out of the second seed after tonight, they got it right. And he's been so...
Welcome back to another edition of the What's to Play podcast. I'm Christian, here with Brian, JB, Nate is back, and Caleb behind the camera. So before we jump into the NBA content for today, let's first go over how everybody's week has been. How was your week, Brian? Week is coming to an end. How's your week been?
Been pretty good, not gonna lie. We did, got to do that draft episode yesterday. Check that out if you haven't already. Obviously had a couple days off of work. Just came back from it today, but not too bad this week. Been pretty chill, pretty peaceful. So that's about it for my week.
JB.
Yeah, no, I had a great week. Honestly, got some good news on the job front. I'm not ready to share on that yet, but it's good news, man. Outside of that, looking forward to hooping. Looking forward to hooping with my dogs.
Yes, sir.
They're itching to do that, so yeah, it's looking to be a great week.
Nate, man, welcome back.
Yeah. It's been a minute. This week's flown by, honestly. Feels like a Friday, but we're recording this on Thursday, so one day, not really that much. But
It'd be like that.
Yeah, no, this week's been weird. I feel like I've been moving in slow motion, but at the same time, everything else is fast. But like not in a bad way, nothing negative, but just just going through the motions. I haven't hooped in a minute, in like a week and a half, so looking forward to that this weekend.
Looking forward, man. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
What was old man though?
Oh man, no, I mean, week and a half,
I'm itching.
No, I'm fine. Yeah. Just having a show basketball.
In 2 weeks, come Saturday.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Right on time.
Caleb, behind the camera, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Great for the week to end. It's been a long week for me, personally. A very long week. But I'm feeling good, though. Ready. I'm happy it's Thursday. Happy got some sports news out. I'm kind of depressed by my Ravens, but it is what it is.
It
Life happens. I'm not a Commanders fan right now.
Hey.
We lost Mike McDonald as well. Just kind of bring that up. I know we're not talking about NFL today, but lost Mike McDonald. But we got Zach Orr, the coordinator. I loved him as a linebacker in Baltimore before he got hurt. And the linebacker coach, he was amazing. But get away from football. I'm doing good, though. Doing good.
Yeah. Also, before we even fully get into the content, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll probably say it again at the end. But please do that to help us grow our channel, get more content out for you guys. Shout out to Caleb, man. He's been on it lately with the thumbnails, the editing. Caleb and Brian. I believe Brian worked on the draft episode, and Caleb with the thumbnails during work hours for most people, because a lot of us are full-time workers, and then we come home. A lot of people just want to relax, but these guys are working on stuff for the podcast. Shout out to them. They're really pulling their weight and then some. So shout out to Caleb. Shout out to Brian, podcast leader, podcast president. Got JB, Nate. Everybody's pulling their weight. Just wanted to give a shout out to my guys. Just wanted to give a shout out, man. But quickly,
I don't deserve a title.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
I didn't want to publicize their.
We have co-social media managers here.
No. That's not his new title.
I lost my title.
No, your new one. Your new one.
Is it
your
an
promotion?
Yes.
I told you before.
Yes.
Don't want to disclose.
You don't want to disclose it right now.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll keep that on the about section in that.
Great week.
That project we're working on. But before we get into the NBA discussion, quickly, Super Bowl is coming up. Let's do some rapid fire Super Bowl predictions. Super Bowl for especially for Nate and JB, because if we do an NFL episode, I don't know if they're gonna feature on it as heavy.
You got me.
So we got Chiefs 49ers. JB, Nate,
One question
who you got?
before they answer. What's the spread right now? Yeah, I know.
I don't know. The Niners are probably favorite though.
What's the spread?
I'm gonna check FanDuel quick.
I'm gonna check draft.
I know for me, whatever the spread says, still going with Mahomes. Mahomes money line is always safe money.
That's the real lock.
I don't think it's ever a smart decision to truly bet against him. If you were putting money on the line against him, you always regret it in the end if you end up losing. I think the comedian we were talking about, Malik Brazil, before the podcast started, in his recent clip, in his recent little skit, he had he mentioned that he put money up against Patrick Mahomes, put money on Lamar Jackson against Patrick Mahomes. It's like the guy who he's talking to was like, why would you bet against Patrick Mahomes?
So the money line right now is San Fran -2. But go ahead, get your predictions.
2.5.
Yeah, I'm taking
2.5. Go ahead, JB.
Going first.
Who you think will win?
Well, of course, I had inside information to the script this year again. They're going to have Brock Purdy win that joint, man. They have Brock Purdy take that crown from Pat Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
That's what the script says?
That's what the script says, man. The script went from Lamar Jackson to Pat Mahomes to Brock Purdy. It seems like the higher you go, the lighter it gets. So.
Oh, my gosh.
So I'll just follow the rest of the script. That's what it says, man. It's going to be close, though. It's going to be a nice, fun game, entertaining, for sure.
There's nothing brighter than Taylor Swift. I don't know, man.
Good bar.
I don't know.
Good bar.
Know.
Double
entendre.
Double entendre.
Little Weezy shit. I'm doing that.
I don't know.
How about you? Who you got?
Honestly, I didn't want either of these teams to be in the Super Bowl, but you know.
Can you pick somebody else somewhere?
Yeah, can we pick somebody? Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that TikTok of somebody like talking about they got the script and I forgot what it was?
I seen it.
Oh, about Justin Fields and the Bears?
The Bears and Justin Fields.
101 to 100.
He's got 7 touchdowns and a half. Nah,
That was funny.
that was
It's
funny.
that Mingles Madden offense right there.
Yeah. Nah, probably. I mean,
Cheater.
I got the Chiefs winning. Take the experience side that's been there before.
Okay.
Yeah, you get the fairy tale ending. I'm not going to elaborate on that point, but if you know, you know.
Well, who's going to kneel? He or she?
Oh, my gosh.
Y'all are
Next.
insane.
Yeah.
So let me go first.
Yeah, you go next.
Go ahead.
Hold on, Usher. Let me stop you real quick. It's like, your revenge type of shit. Okay.
Now y'all are insane. So as we know, Chris has a dog in the fight, and I want him to give the bigger explanation. So I'm gonna just go ahead right now. Obviously, kind of like Tom Brady, I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, so I'm taking the Chiefs to win 27-23.
Yeah, as the person who on this set had the most accurate script last year, I believe I was 3 points off of the actual final score in the big game. I will hold on to that information until we record next week.
What?
But I am.
Wait. You just
What?
asked us, and you're not going to tell us your prediction?
No, he's gonna give the prediction. He's just not
I'm
giving
just
the
not
score.
telling you the score yet.
The score.
Yeah,
Okay,
I gotta
gotcha.
make sure the
What heck?
script that I received is actually correct. But I do have the Chiefs winning, as long as that's still what the script says. But there's no way that's not what the script says because it's Patrick Mahomes. So the Chiefs are gonna win. 49ers will go home sad once again. But yeah, that's enough of NFL. This is an NBA episode. Again, this has been a very eventful week in the NBA once again. Doc Rivers has made his coaching debut as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. And it has not started great. There's been a blown lead, which was what a lot of people would have expected from Doc Rivers. There's been questionable rotations, maybe a young player or two not getting the minutes that some people feel that they deserve. So what is everybody's feelings on the Doc Rivers era starting in Milwaukee?
I feel like we should start with Dave because he seemed to be the most supportive of the dude.
I think I was supportive in the grand scheme of things of what better candidate are you going to get at the middle of the season at this point. Yeah, no, the Portland game wasn't the greatest of looks for Doc. I think Draymond Green on his podcast, I saw soundbite. I think he highlighted very well the issues of what Doc is, or highlight what Doc is getting when he isn't. Not the best defensive-minded coach, but in terms of variety in his sets offensively, I think he knows how to throw wrinkles in there, which I think will be a good. Come playoff time to have that. To have a coach that can throw in wrinkles into your offensive sets. I think that's a plus more than anything. But yeah, I think given what this team reportedly fell out of line with Adrian Griffin, I don't know if Doc Rivers wasn't the best hire. I think given that a lot of guys didn't buy into the defensive scheme before, I don't know if Doc's the right pick, and I think it showed in the Portland game. That being said, I want to reserve a little bit of judgment and just watch at least film on like the next 2 or 3 games. I think the point you made, CT, about guys not getting their minutes, hopefully he doesn't come in and just quickly like flip off rotations like on its head. But I think there needs to be a grace period in terms of how he wants his team to play and who he envisions getting significant minutes outside the starters moving forward. So, yeah.
I think for me, I lean more towards giving him a little bit more time because he is stepping in midseason and he had that sound bite that is going to become a meme of I want to wish this on my worst enemy. And it's true. You're coming into a team that it's 50, 60 games almost into the season.
Yeah.
And you're a new coach for almost all of them. So these are people who barely know you. So you not only have to get them to buy into you as a person, you have to get them to buy into you, into your scheme, and what you also believe in, what you believe should happen on the basketball court for them. You have to get them to buy into all of that in game 55 of the season. And so I do think it is a bit unfair for him to be so highly judged on Twitter based off the first couple games that the team may have not had the immediate success. But at the same time, it is Doc Rivers, so it's kind of like fitting that this is how the first couple, games of the era has gone. I do think some of the young players he may need to rely on a little bit more just because this is not a good defensive team. And if you throw a couple of the young guys out there who are able to at least match up athletically with some of the other top names in the league, they can give you a better chance. The one name that does stand out is Andre Jackson, who has been giving them good minutes for most of the season. I don't think he played much over the past couple games since Doc took over officially. And so I think a lot of people are looking towards him getting some more minutes. And it's just he got to figure it out as he goes. It's what Nate said. It's very difficult for him to do what he has to do with this team, with where they're at. And they got to figure it out. He has to figure it out, and I hope it doesn't take until the playoffs for him to figure it out.
Do you think it's a veteran preference situation, which is why he didn't play, why he hasn't played Andre, or you think it's just the early?
You could say it's veteran preference, but he may just feel like the veteran pieces are more equipped to do what he wants to do immediately. But he still has to learn these players too. He doesn't he can watch them all he wants, but he doesn't truly know their tendencies until you actually get to start coaching them for real. So he still has to learn these players at the same time.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
One quick point. I will say I didn't see I know they're 0-2 now under Doc. I saw the one thing about the Portland game that did stand out to me though, and I think it's a good sign, is they look more decisive on defense in terms of navigating their screens. I think also that Portland game was the first time where I think a team has made, and I know it's still regular season, made a conscious effort about getting wings on Dame in defense and making that a point of emphasis. And I think for Milwaukee, learning how to setting good screens will become big for them come playoff time and a priority. And I'd also emphasize off the switch how important Dame's drives generates offense for that team. So just a point of thought. But yeah, I just want to add that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really want to beat a dead horse with this. You guys said pretty much everything about the Doc Rivers experience so far. It's only been a couple games. Gotta get comfortable with a new team. They have to get comfortable with him as well. So we see how it looks probably, maybe a couple games after the All-Star break. Check him out, check back in, see how it's going. But, yeah, only thing I'll add to the conversation was that last play where I think he had Dame take the ball out to Giannis.
Yeah.
Very questionable. Honestly, that's not really a matter of knowing your players per se.
Did you see his breakdown for why he did it?
Now, can I offer one before? Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm thinking maybe it want a handoff, give and go type situation, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Or since he expected a foul, he would hope Giannis make 2 free throws, which is a crazy hope. Rather than base everything on the Dame 3. But that just depends what your preference is. But you can go ahead and tell me.
I think they were going to foul regardless, though. But
foul Dame regardless.
I think they were going to foul whoever regardless that touched the basketball. It was under 5 seconds.
He said he wanted to get into Giannis because he liked his chances of after making the first of him getting a rebound off the second miss intentionally. Which Giannis has before said he has practiced more in practice, but you're also relying on a guy who's shooting 60% at the line that game to make the first one.
Wait,
so I don't like that logic.
Yeah,
he rely on Giannis to get a rebound when he's at the free throw line.
Yeah, to get a rebound off the
intentionally
more than Damian. If Damian misses the second,
right? Okay.
So I'm assuming Bobby Portis and Lopez are on the line when he's doing that.
Yeah, it sounds like he was just trying to big brain something.
Yeah, he made it too.
That he didn't really have to big brain because put your best free throw shooter at the line and whatever happens happens. Because I believe once they got to the line, there were still 3 seconds left.
Yeah.
So technically, you know, you
Could've
still
fouled
could have,
him.
yeah, you still could have fouled
Right.
afterwards. You probably wouldn't have got the best look, but even then,
The only
But
issue
this-
with that was they didn't have any timeouts.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you should trust your best scorer or best shooter, who is a Hall of Famer and who has consistently been doing this for years and years, to at least take that shot and trust him to make it before you kind of take a bigger risk and missing a free throw,
Right.
potentially getting a rebound.
More than anything.
Yeah, so I think that's just like you said. He just tried to big brain it. Yeah,
But
I don't get that.
they would still need a 3 off the second miss, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
They're down
Well,
4? They're down
considering
They would
yeah,
have needed
They
they were
would've
down
needed a-
3,
they
but
would've
if he
needed a
made the
3.
first one, they would have been down 2.
Sure.
They
But
would've
since he
needed
missed the
a
first
3.
one, they needed a 3.
After
And
he
that
was-
first miss.
At his home court, you could say. Damn, I'm saying.
The thing about the Blazers,
Damn
though,
near
for the
home court.
Bucks, I will say this may sound a little crazy, but I don't think it was the best matchup for them. Just considering the Trailblazers have young athletic guards,
Wings, their wings too.
well the wings too, but then you have these young athletic guards going up against the defense of the Milwaukee Bucks, who, like Nate did say, they did look a little look a little bit more confident based off whatever the scheme was at the time. But even still, the names that are out there aren't household names for defense. So those young athletic guards going up against Damian Lillard and Malik Beasley, just not a great matchup for the Bucks. So, I mean, they still should have won the game considering the team they were playing, but the whole defensive struggles over this year weren't going to instantly be fixed with Doc Rivers taking over.
Oh,
So
Beasley, I will say Beasley didn't look terrible on defense though against Portland. I hear what you're saying with like
it's about time.
Yeah.
I really don't understand. I mean, defense is a lot effort. So I don't know if Malik Beasley just, because I can't say that he doesn't have like the prototypical
I mean,
build or look that you would expect
he
from a
doesn't.
defender. He doesn't?
I wouldn't say he does. His arms don't look long, are they?
No, he probably has 6'6", 6'7".
he probably has a positive
Don't seem-
wingspan, but nothing crazy.
Don't seem that athletic.
Yeah.
Don't seem that quick or anything like that. Kind of stocky. So I'm not surprised, honestly.
You would think he would be able to better guard wings though.
Maybe.
But it is what it is. Maybe trade deadline or the buyout market, they'll be able to find somebody else who can play a bit better defense. But that is probably enough time spent on the Bucks.
Postman 99, what happened? Got somebody. I wonder, do you see that D'Lo, Drew Holiday?
That looked like a
That
push
looked
off
big,
me.
didn't it?
That was not what
That look, hey.
we can move on.
I feel it was good comps.
I was just gonna say
D'Lo,
real
Drew.
quick. I don't know. I'm assuming somebody already talked about it, but just to cut Doc a little bit of slack, the possession before, Brook Lopez did take a shot with like 11 seconds left in the game, in a situation where you probably would deign to take that shot, or just continue to run the clock down. So we probably don't even get to the having to shoot the free throw and all that big brain stuff if they just continue to run the clock and let Dame's. I'm sure they probably would have tried to double Dame or something, but Brook Lopez taking an open shot with 11 seconds left in the game, I don't think that was the goal. Considering that you wanted the last possession.
Why you do it then?
I don't know. You just took the shot.
As a coach?
Well, I think also, yeah. I don't want to like get us bogged down this topic, but I think with regards to like Brett taking that shot, I think he has a tenure as a shooter now, and I think his role within that team that he has the confidence to take it. I'm not mad at that shot in a regular season game, but obviously you want the ball in like Dame's hands in that situation, but it's.
Because it wasn't a situation like they couldn't have got it back to him. Like,
Yeah.
I know Dame got doubled, so that's why he kicked it to him. But you had enough time in the game to where you could have tried to get it back to Dame or do something,
Yeah.
and then get the last shot off still.
But I don't think you're like. I think like
I don't think you're upset with it. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's like
you could get a better look. Well, not better look, but I guess you like it.
you could have took more time off the clock at the very least. But if he makes the shot, it's probably different, and then it's whatever.
All right, so a highly discussed topic in the NBA over the last week or so, but really ever since the offseason where this rule was introduced, is the 65-game minimum to qualify for most of the NBA awards, including all NBA teams as well. And we were recording this on the day that the news has dropped that Joel Embiid has in fact torn his meniscus. So I do think this is a prevalent time for us to discuss the 65 game requirement, how you all feel about it, and do you see that it may have negative effects on the players choosing to either push through potential injury that they could further injury by pushing through, and or do you just feel like these players are paid to play the game, they should show up as much as possible, and if they want to win these awards, you got to play a certain amount of games?
So I could see, obviously, I think everybody understood what the NBA was trying to do when they first came out with the idea. I think the biggest issue is that there's not like a whole lot of exceptions put in place. So like obviously one of them is like a season-ending injury, and then I think the only other one I saw was like I think it had to be like something like an exceptional outcome or something like that. I forgot what it was called, but like basically you have to have a hearing and then explain like why you should still be in consideration for stuff if you didn't get to 65 games. But so the only thing I could see is like obviously you can't really judge injury for sure. Like for example, if somebody were to be expected to miss like 2 to 4 weeks, and then that stretches into 4 to 6 weeks, you can't determine if that injury was if it's a situation where the team is continuing to hold them out for a reason, or if the player is that seriously injured. So even if you use that as as like an exception, the teams would probably try to find a way to find a loophole in order to continue to load manage. It has been interesting that players like Kawhi Leonard haven't missed as much time as they did
Let's talk about it.
when it came to load managing. So I can see how the rule has worked to a degree, but then you have situations like Tyrese and obviously Joel, where it's like you practically have to choose between missing games now in order to be ready for the playoffs or pushing for that 65 in order to be considered. So I think it honestly comes down to, I think they'll probably look to make some amendments obviously at the end of the season, but this is one of those things where like everybody's been saying, it's kind of a thing that the players, not all the players, but unintentionally brought upon themselves when people were sitting and resting when they weren't necessarily injured for other reasons. But yeah.
I mean, you said at the start of your sentence was we know why this rule is in place, and I don't exactly know why this rule is in place. So provide the audience with like your opinion on that.
So I would say the rule is in place because obviously you have a TV deal coming up.
Okay.
And it's a situation where, kind of like the resting rules, you want to make sure that the stars are playing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're sitting out marquee games, then when you go to the negotiating table with the networks, they will be able to use that and say, well, we don't know if we're going to be paying this much money for it, and we don't have the assurance that the star players are going to play in the games that we are showing.
Right.
Then it's an issue for you to be trying to ask us to spend more money in order to televise the games.
And another thing with that, it's been kind of like the worst kept secret that NBA is trying to expand to Seattle and Vegas.
Yeah.
So they plan to do that, and CBA deal helps them when it comes to expanding the league. Because right now, the last time they added teams to the league was 2004.
Yeah.
That was the Bobcats, I believe, at that time. And it's been 20 years. And this has been the longest time in NBA history that they haven't expanded.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it soon. It's definitely the market, especially the biggest metropolitan market in the U.S. right now outside of, don't have an NBA team, which is Seattle.
Okay,
Seattle's the biggest metropolitan area, most populated.
Okay.
So, yeah. It's a lot.
But I mean, just to counteract what you said, Brian, or counter what you said, man, I'm losing. I'm dropping in the rankings. To counter what you said, Brian, you mentioned about players, marquee players playing in big games, but we can highlight how Embiid did not play versus the Nuggets after he dropped 70 on the Spurs. We get to how LeBron and AD aren't playing tonight against the Celtics. They're watching right now, and this is with the 65 game rule in place. So how exactly does that directly impact that? I think the only person that we've seen directly impact, as you already mentioned, was Kawhi Leonard. What other players have we seen
Well, Joel just tried to play against the Warriors, and that's where he messed up his knee even more.
Right, exactly. And that's not I don't know if it's a marquee matchup for you if you want to see that game per se, but
It is.
he hurt himself he drastically hurt himself.
I think
And again, it didn't really attract much attention.
And he wasn't even healthy to begin with
Right.
in the game. He was hobbling up and down the court.
And I feel like that's another thing we don't really look at because I also watched Draymond Green podcast the other day as well. And what came to mind for me was Shaquille O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
Shaquille O'Neal had a low managed throughout the season because it takes a lot of weight to go. Well, it takes a lot of what's the word?
Stress.
Stress. Thank you.
Yeah.
To carry the weight up and down the floor so much.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say he played 62 games some season. Sometimes he played like 55 or so.
Yeah.
He didn't win MVP. No, well, maybe I don't know exactly, but he probably won't be in as many MVP conversations. But you got to manage your body somehow for the championship. So I don't really know how I feel about the rule in that aspect too, because some guys have to manage their bodies in order to play. But you about to say something.
I was gonna say I think some of them people had to get exceptions or something. But go ahead.
Nah, in terms of rest, I'm a big proponent of having early notice for a lot, because I do feel like a lot of it has to come down with, like, say Steph Curry, and it's a random game against the Orlando Magic, and Golden State announces 5 hours before that he's resting.
Right.
I do feel like that is a bit late.
Yes.
For a lot of the people, because Golden State goes to Orlando once a year, and these are people who likely are going to this game. It's probably going to be the Magic, one of the most sold out games to see Curry.
Right.
So I can understand from that perspective, like, you want to limit the amount that stars are randomly resting.
Yeah.
And it seems like, and I think the NBA just always wants to have like a reason behind the rest. I think they're trying to I think they're trying to move away from the term load management. They're trying to have a reason behind each game of player rest. Like, is certain injury management instead of saying load management? I think they like to have the injury management. I think the Celtics post injuries and they normally say ankle injury management for something instead of just saying rest or load management. So I do think the NBA doesn't like to see the term rest, doesn't like to see the term load management. But when you get back to the 65 game argument, I was of the belief, and I think most of us were of the belief before the season, that there was always like a ghost requirement for a lot of the awards. Like you weren't likely to play 40 games and win MVP.
Right.
It's almost virtually impossible. But I do think we also agreed at the time that 65 was a bit high.
Yeah.
I don't know if we agreed on like 60 or 55 or something like that.
I think
I think
half is in there.
Half is 41.
If you get to like 55, 60, well,
So,
not
yeah.
even 60. It will say 50, 55, 58.
But for them to use the 65 games as a requirement in order to make a certain amount of money, I don't think is, because if All NBA dictates how much money you can get on that max contract, and I know that they're making 9 figures anyway, but it's their money, they're entitled to it. So I do think they need to do some adjusting with the language, or just, I don't want to say get rid of it entirely, but you could lower the game limit.
Yeah.
Because 55 versus 65 games, I do think you're probably making this a similar impact on your season as a whole. Because if you look at Joel, he's played, roughly 30-ish games. The Sixers played 46. He's played about 30, and with this torn meniscus, he'll probably be out at least 2 months. So he probably won't get past 40 to 50 games.
Yeah.
And so are you to tell me that Joel wasn't an All-NBA level performer because he didn't play 70 games this season?
Wait, 65 also apply to All NBA as well?
Yeah. It applies to everything. So that was
everything
the biggest,
except for All Rookie, I believe.
Yeah, so that was the biggest thing that I think a lot of people were upset about. Because as you were saying, people obviously you care about awards because you know that's legacy building and things of that nature. But the biggest thing is All NBA, because I think that's what Tyrese and other people were alluding to without really saying. Because it's like, again, if I'm putting up 30 and 12, you're going to tell me I wasn't one of the top 15 players despite me playing
like 50, 55 games.
50, 55 basically. So I think the requirement, if it was just for awards, I think people would be a little bit more okay with that. But once we get to All NBA and things that are a lot more attainable, that's where I think we started to hear more of the outcry.
I mean, and you could simply, I don't know how they would go about doing this, but there's a way where you remove the financial benefit of making All NBA away. So there has to be another type of incentive that the players have to reach in order to get that super duper max contract. But if you take that away from All NBA, they can still make their money without being forced to play a certain amount of games. Because that's basically what you're doing. A player's playing through injury to try to make sure that they can make the max amount of money possible. I don't even know if they really care about the awards per se. Like, All NBA is cool.
It's a financial incentive.
Exactly.
It's a financial incentive behind making All NBA. You get that extra $40 million, I believe. Especially if you're a young player, that's a big boost to your that first max contract you'll get.
Yeah, there was a partial back, and it might partially backfire, like I read in a Forbes article. Because, like, let's say Tyrese does become ineligible. You have a guy like Tyrese Maxey who didn't get an extension this year because I think they were trying to keep cap space available for next year's free agent class. But now, obviously, if he makes All NBA, his ability to make more money obviously goes through the roof. So
He not making it though.
That was just the example.
It's positionless now, right?
I think so.
So
that was just the example
yeah.
they used.
I mean, I get it because I mean, you get down the line, like we're not gonna have the best 15 using this criteria.
Yeah,
And we might get to like the 20s and 25s the way it's looking because you have
30s.
players like Joel.
30s probably.
Tyrese may not get the 65 game requirement. There's other players and there's more injuries that may come down the line. Knock on wood, of course.
I think they said Kyrie and Bradley are already out of it.
So,
Bradley Bill, man.
so I have a
He was
question.
out of it based off play.
So I have a question. So should NBA, instead of making an incentive for All NBA, should they make an incentive, lower the game amount, have incentive for the amount of games you play, unless you really experience an injury?
No,
So, like-
because that's still you're playing the games to try to make money thing. Because you could say that you don't have a documented injury or whatever.
Exactly.
But, like, nobody knew what Joel's knee issue really was. But then it comes out that he kept playing on it and now his meniscus is torn. We don't know when it was actually torn. We don't know how many times they actually looked at it. But it came out today, his meniscus is torn. And this was prior. We had no idea.
Right.
Everybody just thought he was, being a little punk, not playing games.
Man
Because
up.
it's Joel Embiid. It's that whole flopping thing. It ties into that. Everybody thought he was being a punk by not playing the games. But in reality, that knee was, I don't want to say falling apart, but that's what it was doing.
Off the bone.
I ain't even gonna say
You
that.
gonna shake the
That's a
turkey
little
bone?
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's so crazy.
But,
And Tyrese is in a. Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was
Yeah,
just
with a leg
Tyrese.
injury?
Tyrese is in a weird spot because I think I don't know if it's 2029, but I know if he makes All NBA this year and this year only, he's eligible to go and being paid from like $204 million to $245.
Yeah, I think he's got the same escalator as a
Damn.
couple of
I
guys.
think Fox has that in his contract too. So
There is one thing I wanted to highlight. So, in the midst of this conversation, I want you to look at how many people win MVP after playing less than 65 games, if that's the minimum.
yeah,
So, in the history of the sport, or NBA, whatever, it's been 5 players to win MVP and play less than 65 games. 2 of those were in lockout seasons.
That's the biggest. Yeah.
One of those was the COVID year.
was it LeBron? I'm assuming in 2012, and then
Moses Malone.
I know Bill
1990
Walton
I mean,
was one.
can we say that?
Karl Malone.
Yeah, Karl Malone, 1999.
Can we say that?
The only 2 left are Bob Cousy in 1957 and Bill Walton in 1978, 1798. So predominantly, let's say this is probably what I'm just going to say a random number. Let's say past 60 years or so. Most people play over 65 games.
75 years.
How many did Joe play last year? 66.
66.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because I do. It's like I said. I really do think there's been like a ghost number out there for a while,
we know.
and I don't think they needed to put a 65 requirement because most of the voters have like a specific amount in their head.
It's like unwritten rule.
Yeah,
Right.
because you're not gonna give a player who only played 50 games MVP,
Yeah.
even though they could have had the greatest season of all time. But it's just like, well, they had an injury-riddled season.
Question: what about you and stat use?
Basketball reference.
Can you do all NBA teams? I'm curious on that. How many games they played? I'm curious on that.
I also, while I search for that, I want to ask you guys if this requirement wasn't in place and Embiid's out for the whole season.
That's what.
He would still
would he still
get
be in
it.
a race?
Yeah, would he still be in a race for y'all?
I don't think so.
I don't think
No.
he's in the race.
I think the NBA sometimes.
I think this could have been.
But that
one of
goes.
the
But that goes back to the
scenarios.
point because he could still be All NBA potentially because if it doesn't, I'm assuming it's season ending, but
Right.
that would be the Okay, if it's not season ending, then he's cooked.
We won't know till this weekend.
Okay, if it's not season ending, then he's cooked. But if it's season ending, then he can use that exception, and then he can still make All NBA.
I honestly feel like that. Like, so if it was season ending, how can I say this? I got my train of thought.
Torn meniscus.
Were you saying like
in modern times
has?
No, because usually if it's torn meniscus, you got to shave like the ending off, and then
I had a torn meniscus.
4 to 6 months, right?
For me, I was hooping all the time. It was middle school. I was actually hooping heavy. Torn my meniscus. I was out for high school season, like what, 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, November to like.
I was
March.
out for like I got hurt like the second game. I was out for until like last game of the season.
Yeah,
so like 2 months, 2.5 months.
I'm about to say, but that was like 10 years ago almost.
20
last time
crazy.
you was in middle school.
But that was about 10 years ago.
Technology.
I thought you said 20 years.
Depending on, I feel like since surgery wasn't immediately announced, I do think they're looking at a lot of like options for him. But I don't think torn meniscus is the death sentence that we may think it is.
It's not.
Because he probably won't play for a while. It'll probably be longer than 2 to 3 months. But I really would not be surprised if he's on the floor come playoff time.
But like, back to
I
Brian's
mean,
point.
we don't even know what they'll look like. No Embiid come playoffs, or
Yeah,
they
you
could
don't
drop
even know-
significantly.
It may not even be
can.
worth him playing.
That's
come
going to my
playoff time.
point. I feel like
gotta
if,
stay afloat.
if Philly was like a solid or like not one away, but damn near like a 1 seed at this point in time, or like have like a couple games of 1 seed, and he probably missed like a month or so, he probably still be running. A month or two, he probably still be running. Probably.
You gonna trust the process again?
Oh man,
Goodness.
that would be crazy though. Like if they slide, like if he's out for the regular season, they slide to like. I don't think they'll be a
Is this
full-on
the-
lottery team, but maybe no. I think it might.
I think
Who's
they still make the playoffs.
Well, who's their
I don't think
backup?
they're
Paul
sliding
Reed
up.
still?
Paul Reed, yeah,
B-ball Paul, he almost won them the game.
yeah, 30.
Because they
Couple
gotta have
nights
like
ago.
at least a 6-game difference.
They wasn't against the Nuggets. They wasn't expecting him to play, so
Do Philly have any picks right now? They could trade.
They should.
I don't think they should though.
I don't know though, because like I'm looking at their Magic or the 8 seed. They're 4 games out of where the 76ers are. They could slide a couple of games.
They could,
I
but I
think
just
this-
don't see them like.
But I do
completely
think,
being-
I think they're gonna still be
sliding up.
competitive.
I'm saying
for
if
most of the
Embiid's out
season.
for the
That'd be
year,
a good cook.
I don't know.
That'd be a good.
Maybe I believe in Tyrese too much.
Get
but I
you
just,
a
I
little-
don't
I love
think they're-
Tyrese, but I
I just don't
know.
think they're sliding past like 8, even if Joel is hurt. I understand how impactful Joel is.
You wanna bet on it?
But
betting on an injury. My goodness.
No,
Well-
not better injury. Better on the sliding of the.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Sixers.
Y'all didn't even have no guidelines. I just said better on it. No,
I said
like,
past 8,
guidelines,
no.
no law, like
Nah.
no
I
punishment.
said, I said past 8.
We got cameras. We fine.
I think Nick Nurse is a good coach and all that, but it's like I think Tyrese is good enough to generate offense for that team at times, but it's like you're sliding up Tobias, Kelly Oubre, I'm forgetting something else, to be like reliable second options at that point, whereas before like they were more so auxiliary around like Tyrese and Joel.
Don't be crazy. I say this. I
Mhm.
think Tobias could step up, not be a consistent second option, but nights.
Yeah, he
Be
can.
second option.
He can give you
Nice.
15 to 20. I agree.
I believe like 18 to 20, like 18 to 30.
Oh yeah, you're
30
sick.
what? 30,
Oh, that's
30
not crazy.
Points?
That's not crazy. 18 to 30
Like combined.
consistently.
Like
combined.
points, rebounds, and assists 30.
You don't
Tobias
believe
Harris?
that? Yes.
Ain't he like 30 himself?
He's a good. I get.
This was like 2018. we was
No,
doing
but
this, y'all.
Tobias
Let's-
Harris-
But
I think
Tobias a good
think
third
he
option.
he was still in high school when
He
he was
get you
doing
20.
that.
Hey, this might sound crazy. I think Kelly Oubre might step up. Man.
Okay. Twin?
Is that 3?
That's crazy. Don't look at me and say that.
Oh, sorry.
But
Oh, man.
Joel, from what's to play, hope for a speedy recovery for you.
Absolutely.
He was having a historic season. I think he was averaging 36 a game,
It's crazy.
coming off a
36.
70-point game as a center in today's NBA
Should we even talk about that?
Against Wemby.
is impressive.
Hold on. He's supposed to be on Team USA, too.
He'll be healthy.
He'll be back by
he
then.
play by then.
But I don't. But
They don't
then
start-
again, I don't know if he should play.
Why not?
Rehab.
Right?
We had not even
Isn't
rehab.
it
We
the
got to
same-
recover.
Isn't this the same knee that he was bothered with? Was it last year's playoff or the playoffs before? Is this the, because
I think if he plays in the playoffs, he might not play in the Olympics.
I don't think he should play in the Olympics at all.
Dang.
But
I don't think he should. Bam, take a spot.
So yeah, Bam
I don't
and
think
AD.
the Sixers would even want him to play, but I don't know if they're going to tell him
Well,
not to because he made this whole big deal of
Right.
selecting a country to play for.
There's always 2028.
I have a
Anywho.
question.
They ain't always
2028, he will be
Okay, quick.
almost 35.
He be on TNT?
probably.
Talking about Olympics though, quick, real fast. Who y'all think be the starting five for sure? No, that's
That's
obvious.
rough.
That's
I think we had
obvious.
that
That's not rough. That's obvious.
Are we including Joel or not?
Without Joel.
Steph, I think
Without Joel?
they play large. They're
It's gonna
going
be
to play
easy.
big.
Steph, Tatum,
Are they playing?
KD,
Braun,
Bron,
and
AD.
AD.
I
Embiid.
don't think so.
Well, he's saying
And
if
B not-
Embiid's not
B
there.
not playing.
So AD would be
Oh, AD then, yeah.
Okay. I want to get to the Olympics discussion, but that's another day. That's another episode.
Well,
I was last thing before we move on. I was just gonna say another thing, JB. I think because the league has become so ingrained with sports betting as well, and stars move the line so much. I think that's another reason why they were like, okay, we need to make sure we have some level of regulation here with the injury management, as CT said.
Money talks.
I guess, but now look at what happened. It be out for the whole season. The line fucked up. I'm just saying. But maybe we're overreacting. Because history shows you more times than not, you're playing over 65 games, you're winning MVP. So we'll just see what happens after this season.
and we're back. Hope you enjoyed that word from our sponsors. We are now moving into the NBA All-Star Reserves talk. Last episode, we discussed our NBA All-Star ballot as a whole. Now the actual teams are finalized, of course, save for injury replacements. So we're going to start out East because I do think the West is a bit more controversial. So we'll probably spend a bit more time on those guys out West. So for the East, the Eastern Conference All-Star Reserves, Jalen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, Bam Adebayo, Julius Randle, Tyrese Maxey, and Paolo Banchero. So I think the big person who's not on here is probably Trae Young
Yeah.
for most people.
Snap.
No Scotty Barnes, no Kristaps, no Jimmy Butler. So these are the names that are missing, but I don't know if they're.
Interesting.
I can't honestly say that they're wrong.
Okay.
I'm interested to see how you guys feel about it, but I do think Trae is probably the one person who I would have had on here. I don't think I would have given the Knicks 2 All-Stars, even though they're playing to the level of where it looks like they probably deserve 2 All-Stars, but that's just me. Trae Young, I think, deserved a spot on the All-Star team, but they opted against it. So how do you guys feel about the teams? I believe JB may have had the East correct for the most part. How do you guys feel?
Yeah, I'll check it in a second. I think so. When we talked about it last time, I think the Knicks were 5th in the standings, but I also remember saying on the episode I was scared for Trae once I saw that he wasn't a starter. I didn't think that the Knicks would get 2 players. I definitely did not think that would happen. But moving up to the 3rd seed definitely helps your odds there. I would have preferred Trae over Julius Randle, but I can understand that the winning factor is a big part, obviously, especially something that coaches are looking at when they're voting. So I can understand why he made it, but I would have preferred to see Trae just because of the season he's having and just everything he's looked like. However, we do know Julius Randle is dealing with a potential injury, so we may see Trae Young anyway as a injury replacement.
They got it right.
Y'all waiting on me?
They got it right. With a team that's half the game out of the second seed now after
Talk
tonight,
about it.
they got it right. And he's
Yes.
been so good for the Knicks this year. I know, obviously, the talk is on Jalen Brunson, considering how the media ran with the whole, or they started with the whole, he's on a 1A, but he has been so essential to the success of this team. I'm not saying this because I correctly predicted this, but it's deserving. I don't know how you look at this Knicks team, and especially the stretch they've been on the last month, and think that they're a team that I don't know how you look at this and think they're a team that doesn't deserve 2 All-Stars. What's going on?
They're talking about my list.
Oh,
Yes.
Because he had Trae Young in his reserves. So.
Right, and I didn't have Dame. So I think between Jalen Brunson and Dame, buy Dame, in my opinion. Buy Dame. It was nice. Loser. Nice. I also find it interesting you guys mentioned Julius Randle being the one out, but if you looked at my list, which I know you just did, you saw I had Paolo Banchero.
I mean, I had Paolo Banchero too. I mean, I don't
So
think
why we
anybody would
choosing
disagree
Julius
with
Randle,
that.
the one that has to go? Why not Paolo go? I mean, he's
Because
the 8th seed.
Paolo is the only one on his team.
Doing what? Winning games? I thought it was a team sport. What you talking about?
They're the 8th seed,
And the Hawks are the 10th seed, correct?
and they're also one of the
But why
best
would
defenses in
why
the
would I
league.
take Paolo out?
Are they not the best
Over
defense in the
Julius
league?
Randle?
Yes. I just told you I didn't think the Knicks deserved 2 All-Stars.
But you were wrong, Brian.
But you just asked me why I would rather have Paolo over Julius Randle.
I'm saying
I didn't think they deserved 2 All-Stars.
You're judging it based off of what? Because they have 2 good players on the same team?
That's not it. Because if that was the case, then
So why shouldn't they have
somebody
2?
Jalen Brown would.
Why shouldn't the 3rd seed have 2 players on the...
Again, when we first talked about it, they were the 5th seed.
Oh, and where were... Never mind. Fair enough.
They were probably still the 8th seed. But the
Fair
point
enough.
is,
Fair enough.
Paolo was putting up numbers, and he was the only All-Star guy on his team. So I'm going to give him the nod as a forward over a guy that's the second option. Same reason why the Sacramento Kings don't have 2 people.
Now, question. When we had this... When we had this
We'll talk about the
conversation...
Kings in a second.
When we had this conversation last week, we were talking about... Sorry, Nathan. We were talking about Paul George versus Laurie Marketing. And you said... I don't know what you said. I'm going to make up something, though. But you
Because I
said...
definitely wasn't going off of Laurie.
No, you weren't going off. No, it wasn't you. But we had this conversation about the second option compared to the first option on a lower seed. So you're saying you would rather have the second option on a better team miss the playoff than a better option... Sorry, the first option on a lower team make the playoffs. Just based off you don't have 2 people on the same team make the All-Star team?
I just don't think you
said
need
that
to
right.
be.
I think I did.
I just don't think you
did it confuse you because it was supposed
I
to.
don't think you said it right. You're gonna watch it back and be like, "What was I saying?" I don't think you said it right.
Again, unless you're like honestly, even if you're a top 3 seed, it's sometimes hard for me to be like you need to because some people were talking about like Derek White or Kristaps as the 3rd, and I'm like,
Are there 5 better?
But you had Tatum and Brown.
Yes,
But you had AD and LeBron.
yes.
What does the audience think? Come on.
I think this
Wait,
would all be
wait,
solved
wait.
for 13th All-Star spot.
Fair
No,
enough.
because I mean, at that point, then the team becomes less
Less what? By one more man.
sacred. Yeah, seriously.
sacred.
I think like obviously. Yeah.
How old are you?
No.
You sound 58 years
No.
old.
Listen, I understand.
The honor.
I think most of me probably agrees with you, but at the same time, I think it is intriguing though how I guess they're ultimately. It's kind of like the NBA top 50 or the top 75 teams, right? Like
Yeah.
you know, there's going to be snubs,
Yeah.
but that just comes with it. But back to Julius Randle though. Okay. Like, and here's where I thought it was gonna. I had both Banchero and Randle making the team, and I did that not necessarily with I made my teams honestly, and you'll see when we talk about the West in a certain selection. I made my teams more so who I think deserves to make the team this year. So on the idea of like Banchero and Randle.
What?
You lost me.
You made your
But
teams based
continue.
off who you think deserve to make the team.
Continue.
Obviously,
Isn't that what we all did?
I thought so. That's my check. I thought
Maybe not me. Maybe not me.
I thought some people did it with the mindset of predicting what it was going to do.
Oh,
No.
no.
If it was
That's true.
predicted,
No,
then
the
I would have
real
the same person.
voters
Yeah,
like
real
me and you.
analysts.
Yeah.
And me.
You're not going to include him?
And me.
And
He
I
didn't
got
have
to do-
Dame.
I
He
got-
didn't have Dame, and he's a starter.
I got the rest right.
I was going to
That's
say.
probably based off how
He did the
would've
same
picked them,
thing. Oh, Brandon did the same thing.
though. Yeah, Brandon did the same.
Sorry.
I was just on the point of Banchero and Randle. I thought they both deserve it, but in my head, going into today before it's announced, I thought one of them would get snubbed for the other. I think the right choice was made. I think for Banchero, honestly, in my head, the argument was like, I thought Randle was a clear cut to me.
Yes.
I think Banchero was really, really close to clear cut. The only argument I had was in my head when we talk about Scotty Barnes. We talk
Let him cook. Let him cook. I like what I'm hearing.
Banchero, I think from the beginning of the season to like mid to late December was just incredible. But I thought going into like the end of 2023 into 2024, Scotty was playing well enough to catch up to him in that argument. I understand why Scotty didn't make it over Banchero, but I'm like the point I'm trying to make is like when you're talking about Banchero and Randle, I thought more so the questionable choice would have been Banchero. Not because of Randle per se, but more so I think Scotty had closed the distance a little bit with his play recently.
And they're pretty similar.
They wasn't
when-
trying
in-
to hear
in
me when I
standings,
said that,
so.
though.
Yeah.
Say it one more time, gangster.
Scotty was on my short list.
Right.
Which isn't hard. I don't
But everyone on
think
your
it's
short
bad.
list
Yeah.
didn't make it, but that's why it's a short list, right?
Exactly.
And the
short
reason
list
why
of
I think
people
I
who
left them out is because the records at that point. I'll look at the teams at that point and kind of take
That's
that
where
out.
we differ.
How so?
Because I had Trae Young on my team.
Yeah, he was making my
Because I
team.
do.
I had Trae
I
Young on my
do
team
think
as
he's
well.
having
y'all-
one of the better individual seasons.
He is.
No, y'all differ.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is. But I just think when you look at his contemporaries who are looking to make the team, it's just hard for me to like. Okay, to even from the wild card spot, you look at guards like Brunson, Tyrese, surefires, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I had Tyrese as a guard.
And I think Dame even though he's not having the season we may have thought he did initially, still had a better argument than him, than Trey. And then at that point, once you look at the reserves and wild cards, it was hard for me to look at a team that's. I know he's having ridiculous numbers, but like if the margin of error at that point becomes team success, then it becomes a little iffy. Because I know.
I feel like that's what it came down to.
Actually, I don't even know because now I'm thinking of like when D'Lo made the All-Star team. A lot of it, I think, he was having a great year, but when you just look at it in a box, I don't think a lot of people would consider it all-star numbers, but I think he got called to be a replacement because of the success Brooklyn was having that year.
Right.
So I think that that comes into play when you're looking
on the verge.
Yeah, when you're on the verge, like you have to take. Yeah.
So I would like to ask, because just back to this whole second player on the same team sort of situation you got going on. You had Embiid and Maxey, Brian.
Yes, because they were the third seeded.
So how many people do you have on the same team made the All-Star game, but Julius Randle was not enough for you?
Julius Randle wasn't putting up. I just didn't feel like Julius Randle was putting up
25, 9, and
yeah, he put up similar numbers to last year after I checked, but I just felt like
are there 5 power forwards better than Julius Randle in the league?
I don't want to have that conversation.
No, I think it's no.
To me, it came down. To me, he was more of a wild card to me than a forward spot. Honestly, like I kind of had Ben Carroll just solidified there. So once it got to that point, it was like
I think when it comes to Julius, his full season body of work
has been good, really good.
Those first 10 games weren't as great.
In comparison, I remember that.
He started off really rough.
He did.
And so if you have a All-Star game after 50 games of the season and you have a rough, like, first, quarter of the season almost,
but I think
you can understand why there's debate. I understand why he made it. I think this is much more correct than the West that we're about to talk about.
Good. This is a good segue. This is a great segue, actually.
To what?
To the West.
Let's talk about the West. Hold on. Let's read them out.
Okay,
Let's read out.
My bad.
The East, we're done. It's not much of a debate in the East, really. You know, there's probably one spot that we may disagree on. But for the West, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Stephen Curry, Paul George, and Karl Anthony Towns are your Western Conference All-Star reserves. So, I think the big one.
The Big Purr, perhaps?
The Big Purr. Cat made the team.
Don't look at the camera like that.
I was right about that. But there are some names that were left off. Sacramento Kings got no All-Stars this year.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox did not make it. Domantas Sabonis did not make it. And Lauri Markkanen did not make it, who is Nate's guy. So, after talking with you guys last week, I admitted that my list was a bit flawed, but I ended up having the most accurate one on accident.
Well.
But I think they did the Kings wrong. De'Aaron Fox is 9th in the league in scoring, and I don't really know what more he could have done to... I really felt like he was a lock. But my only theory is, and I said this in the group chat earlier, is that I think a lot of people in the league probably only wanted the Kings to get one All-Star, and I do think they voted that way. I think some people voted for De'Aaron, and I think maybe the other half of the league, who are the coaches, because the coaches are the ones who select the reserves, right?
Yeah.
I think the other half, or roughly half of the league, probably selected Sabonis. I don't think a lot of people had both on their ballot. So I do think their votes may have been split because people may have not really known who their number one option for the Kings to make the All-Star team would have been. So that's my only theory, because I do not know a world where De'Aaron Fox, who's the 9th leading scorer in the league, and the Kings are, the 6th, 5th, 7th-ish seed. They deserve an All-Star. I don't see a world where De'Aaron Fox isn't that guy for them.
Or it's the bonus.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
You're saying either
Right.
or, and you're only picking
Those
one.
votes are getting split
I
up.
think that's the reason why.
First player to average over 27 points and 5 assists and above 500 team did not make the All-Star game.
I'm about to say,
that last
I'm about to
part.
say, Bradley Beal had 30.
Trae Young.
Yeah.
Tracks, man.
Over 500 team.
Because Trae Young's the 10th leading scorer in the league, but they're not good. And
It
he's not good at
is,
defense.
yeah. I don't know. It's hard. I think for Kings fans, a lot of the times they've been told that they don't have an All-Star level player because they don't win. It's undeniable at this point, though. The top 6 team, they needed. I think Fox definitely should have made it.
Right.
I think Sabonis, 19 and 13, also had a good argument as well, like a really, really strong argument. Yeah, I don't know. I'm shocked on that. I'm really
I don't
shocked.
think you're building the best 12 players in the West and don't have maybe both of them on there. Sabonis has been very good this season, but the counting numbers in comparison to maybe Like, even if you look at his numbers compared to Paul George, you may honestly take Sabonis' numbers over Paul George, but the
Offensively.
Clippers are the 3 seed.
Yeah.
So it's like you probably lean towards the 3 seed getting that second All-Star. But for De'Aaron Fox to not make it at all, they may have
Plus-
to evaluate the way they do this voting because that's a crime.
Yeah.
27 a game. I can understand. You can't even say empty stats. It's a 6 seed. They're coming off a year where they're the 3 seed, so it's not like this is a surprising year for them. This is a legitimately good team.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Sorry about that. Maybe next year.
I mean,
I think plus to your point too, like when you think of Paul George for like why he made it, when you brought up Julius Randle's like first 10 games, I think Paul George started the season off with a heater. Yeah. Like,
before they traded for James, man, he
Yeah.
was on
He was
track for
cooking.
all
You're right.
NBA season.
You're right. He was
Oh
cooking.
my goodness!
I forgot about that.
He's at all year. I think he's had to somewhat accommodate for James now.
Yes, he
He's
has.
the primary player. It's working. I know.
I'm glad. No, I'm glad
Yeah.
it's working. I'm glad that the team is having success because, of course, I still want him to win at the end of the day. He is one of my favorite players in the league. Probably the favorite right now. But I do think
Are you
that
talking about
them-
Paul or James?
Paul.
Oh, okay.
Certainly
Just
not
making
Let me
sure.
clarify.
I do think that them trading for James probably took away a potential legendary season that we could have gotten from Paul George.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I don't know. This could have been a top 3 Paul George season.
It could have.
The way
It was,
it was
probably
he was
top one, honestly.
definitely
No,
cooking.
no, it was not top.
No, it's not being that
MVP,
OKC Jones.
MVP.
Oh man, that was. Never mind, I won't
MVP.
get into
His
that.
splits were the best, though.
Oh, he
His
was
shooting
OKC
splits were the best.
Yeah,
in
the
his
shooting
career.
splits, but them, he wasn't
The eye
finishing
test.
top 3 and top 3.
I test, man. I test.
Top 3 and top 3. Come on, man.
But
Where they do that at? come on.
that's
come
really
on.
my Bron type,
Hey,
Kobe Mike type.
hey, we can't spend too much time on it, but that was one of the best seasons.
Oh, it was.
in the
Oh,
last 20 years.
Yeah.
You got to realize 20 years is 2003.
Yeah, I know which one.
One
Yeah,
of the
It's
best.
a shame how the
What's one of
season
the
ended
best?
for them though in
Top
the
20?
playoffs.
All right, let's say
That was the
top 20. Yeah,
that was that right? That was the same year.
Yeah.
yeah, it was the same year.
Yeah.
Dang, that's how we
It
remember.
don't
the year.
matter. Let-
I mean,
That's
it's
the
a
highlight.
highlight.
if you look back at it, I mean,
they ain't waving them off.
It was a bad shot. I'm playing.
I mean, no, I'm saying like if you look at both their journeys since then, who's had more happiness?
Neither.
Paul
The
George.
heck? What?
George. He's living in Los Angeles.
That's
I
enough.
thought
for
you were
him?
gonna say because of a deep.
That's
playoff or
why.
something.
That's why he
LA.
had-
Oh, and that playoff run.
Yeah.
2021?
the mental- Oh, never mind. That playoff.
Oh my gosh.
I remember more playoff runs we had mental health issues than the ones we.
See, but he overcame it.
Here's the thing. I don't know.
Congratulations.
I don't know if that playoff run is better than the playoff run Dame had the same year he got them out, and then also the bubble run.
Mm-hmm.
The bubble.
He was
run,
cooking in the bubble.
the bubble run.
Okay, well.
How many rounds was the bubble run?
They got all the way to the.
I mean, but
Game 7,
Paul
right?
George got to.
Yeah.
they
Game
got
7.
to
Oh
the
yeah, they
conference
made it to
finals.
Game 7.
Where Paul George go?
Of what? Dame made it to Game
Second
7
round.
of what?
Second round.
Did they make the playoffs? Oh yeah, he did. He did.
the
Yeah,
they
yeah.
The
beat,
Lakers beat him. Yeah.
They beat the who did they beat in the
No.
first round?
Paul George made it to Game 7 in the
Oh
second
no,
round.
maybe they
too.
lost the Lakers in the first round. They
That's
did.
that's definitely what I
Yeah.
thought. I was gonna let you cook up
Because it
because
was
the Lakers
them
definitely played the
and
Rockets in the next round.
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, what playoff?
The
round?
Rockets. The Rockets
That
played the
one
Thunder.
round.
in
Oh,
the-
because he got that Mickey Mouse trophy. The
Gotta
bubble.
love it. Yeah.
But Booker almost got to.
But back to the first 10 games of the season, which I wanted to use to parlay to the Western Conference conversation. Karl Towns was playing terrible at the start of the year.
He was.
He was playing boo-boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But someone want to go off at 62 in 3 quarters, didn't play the last quarter at all. You know what I'm saying? But he got an all-star nod. Without that game, is he getting the all-star nod?
Probably
I don't know,
not.
man. They
I don't
think
think
he
so.
is. I think
don't
he
It's
is.
like I
think
said.
it
It's
is.
like y'all said when I was sitting on that couch last week, man. It's what was fresh in my mind.
See, what's the phrase one time?
It was fresh in my mind.
You remember the last thing? I forgot what it was, but it sounded funny to me.
Remember the last thing that I saw?
You say, you know what they say? Memory is this remembering the last thing you saw. I was like, what?
It was something a little crazy, but
Yeah.
you get the gist.
Yeah, I think
but
I think
yeah, it
one of
was-
Sacramento people probably gets in if Carl doesn't.
Yes.
Carl doesn't make it.
I
Best
would
team in the
hope
West.
so.
It's hard not to give them 2 All-Star starters though. They're
Best
the
team?
number 1 team.
Why are we just giving because of their
best?
placement in the? I don't like
that
that.
happens historically.
Wait,
though.
they're still the number
Better
1 team?
teams usually
Yeah,
get more
they're the
All-Stars.
one seed.
Better teams too that have
seed
better
too.
players. I don't think seeding should determine because last year the Grizzlies had John Morant and he was the only one that made it, and they were the 3rd seed, right?
Thought they were
was
second.
second.
Anybody else?
They were
on-
the 2nd seed.
Okay,
Only had
but
one.
anybody else on that team besides JJJ really a true All-Star candidate?
Yes.
That's the thing.
JJJ made the All-Star
He
team.
did make the All-Star team. Actually, yeah,
Oh,
he did.
well, I'll just shut up then. Okay.
Fair enough.
Sometimes
I
you
feel,
gotta
like, I
be
feel
wrong.
like the other thing with LA
Sometimes
is
you're wrong.
I think the other thing with LA is they were on such a heater as a team that
Yeah.
I think team people felt like they needed to get both All Stars.
I guarantee you, James Harden probably got more votes than you guys think.
Maybe, but I think
Where'd that
back,
come from?
back to Cat though. I
He was
think
probably 15th.
I think Cat checks all the boxes though.
23,
9 and 23, 9 and 3, shooting 52 from the field, 47 from 3. Like
He checks
best
the
team in the
boxes.
he checks the boxes.
He checks
out.
boxes.
They all do.
But Sabonis checks them bolder, maybe.
Yeah.
Italicized,
It's
possibly.
just yeah.
I think
blinded.
if you're just comparing Sabonis to Cat, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're comparing it,
But that's what the
But-
All-Star game is, though. Player for player. It's individual.
but
But
actually
he's
no, I didn't
winning.
mean that though. I meant to say if you're comparing Cat to Fox, I think Fox
Oh.
gets in over Cat.
Oh,
I think
yes.
Fox should be in over Cat.
Yes.
I think Cat and Sabonis is a very good argument that
Yeah.
you can probably lean Cat just because of where they are seated.
But they were
And this
winning when
goes
he was
with-
what?
That goes with the seeding logic that you use for Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Cat is the 1 seed.
Okay.
They get 2 All-Stars. Sabonis is the 6 seed. They get 1.
Right.
So I
understand
think
what
I don't
you're
think Sabonis makes it unless De'Aaron is in.
Yeah. They're
don't
both
think
great
De'Aaron-
players. Great player with lower seeding, great player with higher seeding.
That's why we need a
Probably
13th
lean a
spot.
little more to the higher seeding. That's all.
I could understand that. But like I said, the Timberwolves are playing good when Carlton Towns is not playing good. So he's not the engine. Julius Randle can be argued as an engine. You can say he's a 1B for the Knicks. Not a 2, 1B.
You put
Okay,
up
we're
62
talking
and
first
you're
10
not a
games,
1B?
but I think
Huh?
You're not a 1B if you put up 62?
No, because Mo Williams put up 51.
okay,
So where
fine.
do you have him listed with Rudy in terms of impact?
No.
I'm not saying Rudy needs
It might
to
get
be.
filthy.
because you can't say
Well,
1B.
okay,
It
but-
might get
here's the-
filthy.
here's the-
I don't
here's the
know.
thing, here's the
I'm
thing,
not
though.
saying
Here's the
Rudy
thing,
deserves to be an
you're
all-star.
talking about like
I'm
the
just asking.
engine though. I'll give you this because like I think you're focused on offense on this though, right? Cat is having a damn near 50, 40, 90 season,
Nice.
playing some of the best defense in his career. Not just besides, it's not just Gobert. He's
That's
also
true,
a
he
big
is.
part of that defense.
Sweet.
On the number 1 defense in the league.
That's what's up.
He's
Yeah.
that's not an engine.
Now, can we talk about Jaden McDaniels? Can we talk about Mike Conley? Can we talk
Engine?
about Nikhil
That's
Alexander
an
Walker?
engine. That's like a V8.
Nikhil
No,
Alexander-
you said
wait.
Cat's the engine?
Nikhil
No, my fault.
Alexander Walker is
Like
crazy.
No, he's saying the way you're saying Julius
And the
Randle
Timberwolves
was
got
an
an
engine.
engine. They got like a V8 and like
Uh-huh.
how many pistons come in a V8? Like 8 pistons in the engine. I say Cat
I
is
hope
like
the answer's not 8.
Let's
because-
put him down the ranking.
Cat is like 1 or 2 of them.
Wait, if we're talking about engines, and we're talking
Yeah.
about offense and defense,
Mhm.
Cat is the third engine. I'm sorry.
No. He's the second engine.
Wait. So this defense gets as good as it is without Gobert?
No, but is the
No,
offense
but
as good as
they're
it
not
is
number 1
without
without Cat either.
What offense? They're 15th.
I'm talking about
Offensive
Exactly.
defense, my
They're
fault, their
15th, and
defense.
their only real offensive threats in that starting lineup, isolation or just creating their own shot, is Ant and Cat.
Yeah.
You look at everybody else in that lineup. Jaden McDaniels isn't creating his own shot.
True.
Rudy Gobert is certainly not creating his
Very
own shot.
true.
And Mike Conley, at this point in his career, is a catch and shoot player.
He
Yeah,
is
he's a
creating for
distributor
others.
as
Come
well.
on now.
He can create his own shot.
He's
though.
definitely getting
Yeah,
4
but
assists a
he's
night.
distributor. And he can get
If we
his
get
own
to the
shot all
fourth quarter of a basketball game,
Yes, I trust
Is
Mike
Mike-
Conley with ball his name.
you trust him, yes.
No, Mike
But
Conley
are you
makes
giving
key
him
plays.
the
Anthony
ball?
Edwards is going to have the ball. in his
Sorry,
hand.
we'll let you finish your question, gangster.
What is Mike Conley's role in the last 5 minutes of a basketball game?
Either make the right pass or shoot that shot.
Yeah, honestly.
So is that creating his own shot?
And then I think
I didn't say his
out
own
of
shot,
scrambles, he can also create his own shot. But you're not
Out of
going to go to him. No, but that's the thing though. 'Cause
Right.
like,
The offense isn't designed to go through Mike Conley, though.
no.
Never has, and it
But,
well,
but
not
he
recently.
adds a wrinkle there. If you need somebody to create something out of a scramble or out of a switch or anything like that, he can do that for you.
Sure.
So you're saying
That
that
matters come playoff
because
time, though,
that-
seriously.
because
he'll be on the floor because of that.
But if Mike Conley is your third best,
I think we're getting off topic here.
no. Well, yeah, we're talking about the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
But if they're
No,
15,
not even about the. I'm just saying in general with regards to Cat.
if Mike Conley is your third best shot creator in your starting lineup, I
Yes.
think there's a reason why you're the 15th best offense in the league.
I could agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But then you're the first defense, and you look at it as they weren't the first defense last year.
they were not
Cat
They
took
were
a
still
step
trying to
up this year.
incorporate Rudy, though.
Yeah.
on defensive end. I agree. He has
Cat
taken-
took a step
he
up
has,
this
he
year, and now
has.
they're first.
He is right. Best defense of his career.
Are there any snubs you guys think should have been there instead of?
Well, we already talked about Sacramento.
Oh yeah, right.
I don't think anybody other than Sacramento deserves the spots, and I think the ones who were already in there would have been like the people I would have replaced them with. So unless there's like an injury in the West and it gets past De'Aaron and Sabonis, I don't know.
Well,
Who do,
it's
you
one
think,
person.
who do you guys think replaces Randall? Because it looks like he might be injured throughout All Star.
Well, was he a wild? I guess it depends on if he was a wild card or a forward.
Let's see.
If it was a forward, Siakam probably.
No.
You don't think so?
You think it'd be Scotty?
Scotty, Kristaps, It depends. If he's a
True,
wild card, they might go. They'll probably.
If he's a
go
wild
Trey.
card,
Do
they
they
might
do,
go
do they
Trey.
do replacements like based off of where you were?
I'm assuming that's what they would do. But
Adam Silver picks a replacement.
Okay.
so then probably Trey.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kristaps makes it. It's probably honestly.
Let me see. Julius
Third Celtic
Randle.
would be-
It looks
would be
like
crazy.
Tyrese and Paolo were the wild cards. So it looks like Julius Randle was voted in as a forward.
Mm-hmm.
So hypothetically, if you need a forward to replace him, I think it'll probably be Kristaps or Scotty. If it is a wild card scenario though, because you can just move Paolo up as the forward and you need a wild card, I think Trey probably deserves a spot. But then you also have to replace Embiid. So now
Right,
you probably
right.
you move somebody in from the starting lineup, whoever that is, as a forward, and
Go KP.
Yeah, probably.
KP,
KP or
probably,
Scotty.
and then
As a starter?
No. As a reserve, once
Oh,
you
you
move
move-
somebody up. As a
Yeah, I'm
then
assuming
there's,
JB becomes a
is
starter.
Tyrese fully healthy
Awesome.
I don't
enough
know.
to play in the All Star game?
Tyrese?
Halliburton. Is he
Mm,
fully?
He played tonight.
No, but I'm saying is
He might-
is
they
he
might
healthy
send
to
him
the
out.
point where
They probably he'll
Pacers
probably,
might not? Pacers might tell him, "Hey,
They'll
I
probably
think
tell him not to play.
I think he'll fight to play because it's his first time as a starter.
oh, it's in Indiana. Never mind, I forgot.
and it's in Indiana.
He gonna play.
Yeah, he's playing. But in
Just
the
might not play a
event
whole
in
lot
the
of
event that
minutes.
there is a hypothetical, knock on wood, but if there is a third replacement, Derek White's getting in. I'm
What?
telling you guys that now.
All right, cut the cameras.
Sorry,
Cut the cameras.
And in the West, Are there any injury replacements in the West?
I don't think so right now.
We can hope for Laurie Marketing to get in, man.
Well, it would be
I wanna talk about
It
that.
would be one of the Sacramento.
How you feel
guys
about that,
first.
man? Because you
Nah,
kind of alluded to it, but we didn't.
I don't think
get to talk
anybody's
about it.
You want to talk about Laurie?
I want to talk about Laurie, man.
Yeah, no, I just
Because you said you wanted people you think deserve to get in. Why do you think Lloyd deserved to make the All-Star
I
team?
just think what he does, and I think this will look different if he's on a different team, which may come as soon as this season, like before the trade deadline. Who knows? But I just think what he does for this Jazz offense and how he operates as a hub offensively is, I think, not undervalued, but I just think overlooked on a Jazz team that I think would be that much worse without him there. When you look at the production, the numbers is very similar to last year, where he was an All-Star last year. So I think he had the argument there in terms of I don't think there's no drop off in production whatsoever. Yeah, and I just thought about it in terms of, and I know they're a 9 seed, 10 seed.
Yeah.
Got to be lower than that, right?
No, they're like 10.
They're
I think
10. They're 9 or 10. So I thought about
Never
like
mind, that's not
also
that
in a
bad.
team that's in like what do you call it in
Playing.
Yeah, they're 10
playing
right now.
contention, right? And the make of this team too, like them relying on even more younger talent than compared to last year, like Keontae George is a fixture. I think.
Omer Yurt 7.
Hmm?
Omer Yurt 7.
What?
Omer Yurt 7.
What is that?
The center.
Oh, see.
You don't know who Omer Your 7 is? Oh yeah, we got
Oh yeah, we might need to cut that.
Pack it up. Pack it
My
up.
fault.
You good.
That was a crazy
we
brain
holding
fart.
on to that one.
Yeah, no, that's bad. That's bad. I'll take that on. Yeah, no, I'll take that on that.
Well, you'll do what? What'd you say?
Take to the
that's
chin.
crazy. I'm so disheveled right now. I'm sorry.
What a word.
Wow. Brain fart. Yeah. First. Yeah.
My bad. I'm sorry.
No, we good.
I'm sorry. We
We
got
good.
frazzled.
Yeah,
said
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Apologies.
No, that was bad. That was bad. Right. Because I was like thinking of Walker Kessler, to be honest with you.
Oh, good move.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for that's just how I feel. I think given where he was last year and this year, I didn't think there was a drop off, and he kept up the production. And I think he's keeping a team that, honestly, in my eyes, I thought they would have dropped to like 11 or 12 seed this year, which they very well may still.
Yeah.
But
Right. But you know why they didn't? Because
Why?
he kept up that production. You know what I gotta say to that?
Mm-hmm.
Salute. Shout out, shout out to Darvingham, man.
Salute.
He keep a job. He
my
finished the
God.
season. Let's go. Yes
Yeah,
or no?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think he does. I think
I'd be
the hourglass
surprised.
is more focused toward the players than Darvingham.
I'd be interested. I'd be interested to see if he's still around by the time the trade deadline happens, then he'll probably stay around.
Because I feel like it's like how Nate said about Milwaukee, where it's like who are you?
It's a lot. I'm gonna be honest. It's a lot better than Darvingham.
Yeah. I think the Bucks signed Darvingham.
Okay. Salute.
Salute.
No, I think Darvin. Like honestly, I think Darvin, and maybe it's skewed because like he's coached for the Lakers, and that's probably like one of, if not the most like pressure cooker roles to be in. Well, who knows? Maybe his ceiling is like, and it sucks to say this.
In the zone?
Maybe his ceiling, maybe his ceiling is just on a staff.
Assistant coach? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he found good success in Milwaukee.
Fair enough.
And who knows? I hate that like it came to this for him.
Yeah.
So nobody, I mean, everybody had good things to say about him in Milwaukee.
Another black man down.
Been happening with a lot of Lakers coaches.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Unfortunate to end the episode discussing Darvin Ham, but that's where we are. That's where we will be. Hopefully next week he's still with a job. We hope to see you all next week. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, though. Be sure, like I said, to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Help us keep the lights on in here. It's really bright. Maybe you guys can tell, but help us to pay to keep these lights on, because we definitely pay for these lights. And
Happy Black History Month.
happy Black History
There we
Month.
go.
It's the first day of Black History Month. Be sure to
Stand up. Keep fighting.
I'm not gonna say it. But be sure to stream black music this month.
Oh,
Yep.
And support
Buy black.
Support black business.
don't
Buy
pander.
black.
Don't pander. Don't pander.
Buy
I'm not
black.
pandering.
Okay.
I'm simply black.
Okay.
But
I want to say also, buy some black books too.
Got some black
Buy
book.
black.
Hey, whoop.
No, man, we already had that
you're
conversation.
actually very good.
We had that conversation. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that's all, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, checking us out. We'll see y'all when we see y'all. That's
Stay
it.
tuned for the next play.
Oh, yeah, that is how it goes.